Hello and welcome back to the Restart CBD channel. My name is Shada and today we are going to discuss the current Texas cannabis laws in a two-part series. And in this video, we're diving into part 2, focusing on hemp. If you want to start with our first part on Texas marijuana laws, you can check that video out on our channel. Otherwise, let's get ready to learn about hemp in Texas. So if you watched our last video, then you learned that Texas cannabis laws are a bit complicated. Unfortunately, adding in hemp laws isn't going to be any more clear, but my goal and hope is to help educate you in a meaningful way to better understand these issues, know your rights, and connect you to high quality legal cannabis products. To start, we'll dive into the understanding that hemp is defined at both a federal level, thanks to the 2018 Farm Bill, and at a state level, thanks to the 2019 Texas House Bill 1325, as cannabis with less than 0.3% Delta-9 THC. And we discussed last video that Texas does not have access to recreational marijuana. That would be classified anything higher than 0.3% Delta-9 THC. And if you qualify for medical marijuana, that program is capped at 1% THC. So we have hemp and we have marijuana, and of course, hemp is more prevalent in Texas because that is what has officially been defined and legalized, whereas marijuana has not really made much progress aside from teacup in the state. Like I mentioned though, hemp was legalized in 2019 thanks to House Bill 1325, and specifically the Texas Department of Agriculture is the state's governing body over the program. To operate legally in the industry, there are certain licenses made available. Specifically, there is a retail license, a consumable hemp license, so think edibles, anything you're consuming, and cultivation to grow. The regulatory body that oversees hemp is the Department of State Health Services. We refer to them as DSHs, and they are on the enforcement side, making sure licenses are active and operators are following the rules and regulations as outlined by the HB 1325. Other things to note about the legalization of hemp in Texas: it is legal to grow hemp for both industrial and consumable purposes. It is legal to extract, process, and manufacture for edibles, oils, and topicals. And the legalization allows for the productization and consumption of cannabinoids like CBD, CBN, CBG, etc. And it is also legalized Delta-9 THC up to 0.3% on a dry weight basis. Fun fact, there are over 100 different cannabinoids present in the hemp plant, and those same cannabinoids are also present in marijuana. So CBD found in both, THC, etc., and so on. The cool thing is chemically they're the same compound and would function similarly no matter if it was THC or CBD from hemp or marijuana derived. But to be legal in Texas, the cannabinoids you consume must be hemp derived, and the THC of D9 has to be less than 3% on a dry weight basis, which means you won't see concentrates or flower in the hemp market exceeding the 0.3%, because on a dry weight basis, that would make it marijuana, and that is technically illegal in Texas. But the opportunity lies in the language of, quote, on a dry weight basis. That means in gummies, most commonly, you will now see hemp-derived Delta-9 THC products. And depending on the weight of the gummy, 0.3% of that can legally be Delta-9 THC, so long as it doesn't exceed the 0.3% dry weight. That is why you are now seeing products like our Texas Tangy 20 milligram Delta-9 gummies hit the market. We actually offer a wide range of legal hemp-derived Delta-9 gummies, ranging from 5 milligrams to 20 milligrams. And the best part is you don't need a doctor visit or prescription to purchase. You can shop in person in our retail dispensary here in Austin, or shop online at restartcbd.com, because they are federally compliant as well, and we ship our products across the nation, all over the USA. And if you caught that I didn't mention it is legal to process and manufacture smokables earlier, that's because it is illegal to do those things in Texas as of June 2022. You can still possess and consume, and I can still legally sell, just due to recent Texas Supreme Court ruling, which was an update after their original issuance of the smokable hemp ban back in 2019. The state's final decision was to ban the manufacturing and processing of smokable hemp products in Texas until further notice. Another topic in Texas hemp laws is on Delta-8 THC. If you're local to Texas and a consumer, you're probably aware of some of these issues, but unlike smokable hemp, Delta-8 does not have a final ruling just quite yet at the time of this recording. As you can imagine, the state has some ongoing concerns over psychoactive cannabinoids. It is why marijuana is not fully legal in our state yet. So the fact that we have Delta-8 THC and now hemp-derived Delta-9 THC in our market is raising some flags that that I think will get further dealt with during our next year's legislative session, if not sooner. So Delta 8 has been under scrutiny, and the last legal update was that Dishes updated their regulations to say that Delta 8 was unlawful, but there have been some lawsuits, so until further notice, it is legal in Texas to sell, possess, and consume. Remember, Texas is a 2-year legislative state, which means every 2 years, new bills and amendments to current bills get submitted for review, and due process has its day. Texas has its next legislative session kicking off next year in January of 2023, so be on the lookout for new bills being introduced addressing the Texas hemp program. To sum up everything shared in part 1 and part 2, hemp-based products are legal, but there are for sure some nuances and moving pieces as it relates to the law. It's why it is so important to understand your rights depending on where you are in the state, specifically if you live in a decriminalized city like Austin or not, or if you're flying into the state from somewhere else. The important thing is to know what is going on. We at Restart are always trying to stay up to date and pass that information along to you. I personally sit on the executive board of the Texas Hemp Coalition, our state's leading advocacy group, and will play an active role in our next year's legislative session, advocating on behalf of these issues and more. If you need more information or clarification on something, piqued your interest, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks again for tuning into another episode. Be sure to hit subscribe so you won't miss our educational cannabis content. If you need some legal cannabis, check out restartcbd.com, and appreciate you tuning in. Bye, y'all.